What does a Machine Gun Kelly do? Are you rolling?
Yeah. I've been rolling. 3 minutes.
What's up, everybody? My name's Matt Sidney.
And my name is Sean Parham.
And you've just stepped into another episode of Movie
And an egg roll. This is what we're here to do. We watched BioDome. Oh, so many graphics. Look at all the graphics I'm gonna do. Pauly Shore, one of the Baldwins. Yeah, we watched BioDome. 4% on Metacritic, 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Insane.
Very
It was
insane.
not that bad. Hardly that bad.
Spoiler alert, positive review.
This film started out with basically this real convoluted strategy to get out of helping the environment. You have Pauly Shore, you have Stephen Baldwin, you have Squirrely Stubbs, and Doyleson. That is not even close.
So the movie opens with an insane montage up on top of the credits. Like, it literally says MGM, then nobody else is credited, straight to the front runner credits. Then we have them trying to get out of going to a date with their girlfriends, and then one of them takes a book to the face because they lost.
So they can get out of doing this environmental activism event, cleaning up garbage that their girlfriends really like to do. Joey Adams and Girl I've Never Seen Ever Again are their girlfriends.
It's great. So they try to avoid doing environmental work, and then the rest of the movie is them destroying environmental work and then doing environmental work.
Yeah, so
The movie's about
environments.
the girlfriends, the scientists we're going to discuss, they all kind of are played out to be the bad guys, when really they just don't agree with the fun-loving mentality that our heroes have.
Matt, heroes is a strong word. They are bad guys. We are rooting for the bad guys in this movie.
We are kind of
They're not
rooting
good
for the
people.
bad guys. You don't have to like doing environmental work, but you don't have to, I don't know, do the opposite of environmental work.
De-environmental work is what they do for most of the movie.
Their plan gets kind of thwarted pretty quickly. The girls figure out what's going on, and they bolt, and they decide that they're gonna trick them by saying that they meet these hot swimmers in Speedos from this college at this, they're cleaning garbage. They're doing like actual like fun, good environmental work, cleaning trash from a beach or
100%.
something along those lines. And they get on a payphone because it's '96, and they convince them that they are going to be going off with these boys, hot and in Speedos, and so they bolt.
They are immediately referred to as quote-unquote pool Nazis.
Well, that's the thing throughout the entire film. Throughout the entire movie, they discuss people with these creative, other mind space kind of, ways we describe the world, man.
You can't go, man.
You can't say
Like,
man,
well, you're
man.
slowly becoming the characters from the movie, and I'm alarmed, but I'm also in love with it.
Pauly Shore was just existing. Stephen Baldwin was acting. He was putting the
Acting.
effort in. He was going
It
for
is-
those Oscars. This was his My Left Foot.
Pauly Shore, I don't think has ever acted. He falls into the Tracy Morgan, Vince Vaughn, Robin Williams. Actually, Robin Williams is great at acting.
They go to the lake where they assume their girlfriends will be cheating on them. I don't know what their plan was, but they did stop for a soda. This was a bucket that Stephen Baldwin had drank, and they just
Which
rode
they
the
call a bladder buster.
Bladder buster,
That's the term.
that's what it was.
Bladder buster.
They show them littering. They show them at the lake. They realize that they were got. But they drank a bucket of soda. They decide, let's pull over at this mall. It is not a mall. It is the opening
Not a
of
mall.
this year-long scientific experiment called BioDome.
So BioDome, not the movie, but the idea that they're stepping into is essentially like a self-contained ecosystem that they're trying to see that if human beings coexist with the regular ecosystem, not altering it at all, does it stay at 100% homeostasis, retaining its own equilibrium without human beings altering how the natural process of a biosphere, biodome, or ecological existence would be.
And they assume it's a mall that they can go pee in. They don't even park in a parking space. They literally just pull up in front. There's news cameras. This is the opening day. We're introduced to the scientist while this is going on. They're trying to get into the biodome to pee because they think it is
Kylie
a mall.
Minogue.
One of
them
the
is Kylie
scientists
Minogue.
is Kylie Minogue. Never put two. She's
great.
also 5 feet tall. They sneak in, they pee in a river. Homeostasis immediately drops from 100 to like 98, 97%. They out of the gate, they start ruining the experiment.
Which I didn't understand, because if the whole point of the experiment is to coexist with humanity and just a regularly functioning ecosystem, then why would peeing in a river ruin homeostasis?
Because this was also not a good movie. Hot take!
It's getting hot in here.
All right, so they are locked in the biodome, and this door will not open unless a Sherman tank. Is it Sherman tank?
Trust Sherman Williams.
Ask how, ask now, ask Sherwin-Williams.
Tanks.
Barring a tank barreling through the front door, these doors are not opening for 365 days. The parameters of the experiment are apparently really tied to, how would you say it? The exact time frame of 1 year. Somehow, though, I'm gonna counterpoint. You could push this thing back like 20 minutes and just have it end 20 minutes later, a year from now.
Because so you're saying that which is true, that they were saying this door cannot be broken down without a tank, but also there was the option that the lead scientist, long hair, not Brendan Fraser, was saying basically I don't want to restart the experiment, even though the experiment had only been happening for 5 minutes. He freestyled an answer that oh, these are special chaos scientists, which by the way,
he spin doctored the living hell out of this. Yeah, you are a chaos scientist.
I definitely want to be a chaos scientist.
So they become celebrities because they are stuck in the biodome as these normal people. The surprise that they made it seem like was supposed to happen. And they wind up just out of the gate not belonging there.
No, ruining everything. Which is I'll say 80% a product of they are not good people, and 20% they were expected to be good at being in a biodome when clearly they were dumb as shit.
Now, we can keep going in all the things that they did, all the ways that they ruined the environment, and we will, but there's something about these characters you gotta get to. They are in their own headspace. Every once in a while, they'll stop what they're doing, yell the word tribal, and just start dancing. There is also, I think the Oscar goes to the Foley artist on this film.
There are so many finger hand guns that have, I'm doing it right now. I just realized I could do it.
This is what happens throughout the film.
When I grew up, I listened to Metallica.
Play the clips, but cut off the sound when these things happen.
They do present it in the movie that diegetically that the other characters are hearing this full
They are
work,
not.
that
There's
they are
not a chance
clearly
in hell they're hearing this.
There's a couple of reactions to superimposed gun sounds by characters that definitely did not actually hear the superimposed gun sound.
They are ruining the experiments outside of just how they would exist because they're bored. This is pre-cell phones. These guys are not book readers. They were probably sitting around watching TV, smoking weed prior to going into this.
The movie is troubling.
The movie's essentially a montage for about an hour of this about how they ruin the biodome.
Yeah, which ranges from taking a hot tub bath in the rainwater, releasing all of the bugs of the bug guy. There is not even an attempt to act like it's accidental. There's a portion where one of the Baldwins, Jerry Baldwin, is going and just handful pulling off bug racks. And then one of my favorite through lines of the whole thing is they are trying to merchandise these two idiots in the biodome. They become celebrities in that way, and they're selling the Rock'em Sock'em Boppers, the fighters.
Oh yeah, they
make
all
T-shirts.
Of the bells and whistles. Yep, with their names on it.
That marketplace input of them being there, making them more money is more important than the biodome. So then the scientists. By the way, the scientists, like Matt had pointed out when we were watching the movie, it's a fairly diverse cast of people for a movie in the middle of the 90s.
The lead scientist is a gentleman, long hair. He wears this long white scarf over his jumpsuit. He does not like
Brendan
the
Fraser.
guys. He does not like Squirrel and Doyle. He doesn't like them, but he tries. He's like, you're in here with us. We have to. What's that? He just accepts the reality that they're in here with him, and what can we do now? He introduces them. He tries to acclimate them to their way of life, teaches them what they're doing, and they just keep pushing back. So you can't blame him when the turn of events take their turn of events. But they frame him as the villain out of the gate because he's a well-spoken gentleman. So, you have two white guys on the team. But after that, 3 women, one of them, woman of color. It's a diverse team. That's something that 2021 would be proud of.
I give it a Sean stamp of approval. I gotta put it in graphics.
They're ruining all the experiments. Everything that has happened has just been detrimental to the work these people have spent probably years setting up for the experiment.
Easy.
And when the straw breaks the camel's back, they banish Doyle and Squirrel to the desert section of the biodome. which is fine, and I get it. And you know, even the girls, like not the girls, some of the other scientists feel bad for them that they're not gonna have the resources, that they might die. It's not okay. And that's when you kind of see like the lead scientist being a little insidious, being like, hey, they tried to ruin us, we're just doing the same for them. Something very weird, and it honestly, it's a big loophole in the film.
The only one. Everything else was seamless. This is the only loophole.
Big overarching, beautiful glass panels that make the walls and the ceilings of the BioDome. And of course, they just happen to find the panel with the key in it so you can walk out the back door. You need a friggin' tank to go through the front door. Somebody left the key in this one.
I feel like in the writer's room, they were like, oh shit, like how do we get somebody in? And they're like, Pepe Sylvia bored. They're like drawing lines to each thing, and then somebody's like, what if there was a back door?
They get out, they order a shit ton of pizza. It happens to be one of their girlfriend's mother's boyfriend that delivers the pizza. This whole thing.
Super weird.
There's this little bit of a B plot. It's barely a B plot, but just a little bit of one, where you have the girlfriends. Through some logic, they go, well, the girls they're in there with are pretty hot. So these girls go to a party, and you know, there's guys trying to meet them, and you know, they wind up meeting other guys. Again, B plot barely works. So they Squirrel and Stubb finds out from the stepdad-ish figure that they're out partying with guys, and so they decide they're gonna throw a party. And they throw a party within the BioDome. By the way, this Rager looks fun. Would you go to this party?
I would be there. They came out on a palanquin. This is Inception level seamless plot points. So they have this giant party. There's a band there.
What kind of happens is the girlfriends make them feel bad because they're really just ruining something for no reason other than they didn't think. Which, who hasn't been in that position? And that was what it took for them to become better people. Keep in mind, throughout this entire film, they are awful. They are awful human beings who just ruin other people's things because it's in front of them.
They saved the cat an hour and 10 minutes into the movie. Prior to that, they've been skinning the cat alive.
This is also the moment when the party happens that breaks the lead scientist, who has tried with all of his might to be a decent host to these. He has done everything he could to be nice to them, to be welcoming, to try and make it work, and they throw a party and they break this man. And
he was handcuffed to a tree. That is a very important point, that they handcuffed this man to a tree during the party, basically cuckolding this man for his BioDome.
But now he's the villain. Now he's the hiding villain because he's not turning around with our main character.
Put timer on the clock. We have about 20 minutes left in the movie. They spent an hour and 10 being terrible, and we have about 20 minutes to convince everybody that this guy is now the bad guy.
Yeah, so after a big, powerful speech, Doyle swallows the key.
Then they go on a redemption trip. They go full redemption, and during which the two female scientists obviously want to have sexual intercourse with them now, and they are responsible and say, no, we have girlfriends. So they're, you know, obviously redemption achieved, gold star standard of the human being.
Best people I've ever met in my life.
Described.
So you have these gross, awful people who have made their redemption arc, but now you have the good guy who is out of the gate. I want to say they framed him as like he's probably going to be a villain. He has something that he stands for. When you want something in the 90s, you're a bad guy.
You're a bad guy. You have a scarf in the 90s, bad guy. Easy as that. Long hair in the 90s,
evil.
Bad guy.
Evil. We have our now lead scientist as the villain who has been hiding out underneath in the sewers, in the plumbing, in the background of the BioDome as they get to the end of the experiment, and he is basically making bombs.
Bombs out of coconuts and eggs.
Bombs out of coconuts and eggs. Our heroes, are they heroes now? They've saved the day. They're heroes now? Our humans found him and get tricked into helping him plant bombs around the entire facility. These bombs that they're detonating, but are also connected to a remote. Look, so let's just cut to the chase. They thwart the villain. It becomes a huge comedic chase scene. A lot of the physics of how the BioDome works get completely uprooted. In a very literal sense. Can we show the clip of when they literally uproot the cabbage that they should have been eating? We're gonna come up with a rating system
based on the movie.
And this week, we're gonna come up with a rating system of
2020 Pauly Shore doing cameos. A website where you can order videos from your favorite celebrities saying hello to you.
2020 Pauly Shore doing cameos. How many of these are you gonna give this film?
This movie, whether it was nostalgia or whether I actually just think like, if you're gonna be like a dumb comedic romp, like just double down. You know, I live on the principle of double down. This movie doubles down. Is it art? Yes. Did it deserve an Oscar? Unequivocally, yes. I give this movie 100% 3.5 Pauly Shores in 2020 doing cameos.
Wow. I'll agree. I'll definitely agree. It's got to be that nostalgia thing, and it might have been that I knew that the redemption arc is coming. I guess watching this for the first time, if I would have known none of this, I would have literally sat there going, these people are awful. Because now that I'm actually thinking about it as a film, it doesn't necessarily deserve 3. Here's what I'm going to do.
No.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a 2. But then I'm going to throw in 3 of the 4 or 5 Baldwins. Let's get Steven, Danny. Is there a Tyler?
Consistently change the rating system wins.
All right, fine. I'll give this movie 2, and then 1 picture of all the Baldwins together.
That's... Fine, I'll take it. Like and subscribe.
Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe. It's great for the algorithm. And you know what? If you've watched BioDome, if you have any other movies you think we should watch, write it in the comments below. We'd love to see what you guys have to say.
You should.
Should we put a contest in the comments?
Hey guys, guess my weight. Hey guys, I'm a bartender in a movie. Why don't you go and like and subscribe, and what can I get for you, champ? Looks like it's been a long day.
Hi guys! I'm on vacation at the beach. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe to stay up to date on all the 21st floor content. Bye!